Hey, it's Albert with Two Tribes Primal Living, and it's been a while since I put a video out. I decided to just sit back and kind of observe and absorb what's going on the planet today. Um, I mean, when you look at what's going on this planet globally, and I don't mean just within your area that you live in. I mean globally. Whether it's your continent, your country, your state, your county, or your city, um, we're all kind of going through this shit together right now. The part of Texas that I live in, I'm here in the United States, in the state of Texas, and the part of Texas that I'm in is it's kind of confusing. It's a little bit deceiving as to what's really happening um, on a global level at this point. And the reason I can say that is because everything seems fine here. The the leadership of the county that I live in here in north central Texas is not putting forth any enforcement into any of the mandates that are being pushed by the federal government or even by other counties within his state as well too. But just trying to I don't know, break this down into a United States problem um, is really a telltale sign that you're not paying attention to what's going on the planet, because you know there's countries, continents like Australia that are in complete lockdown. You've got Norway that is in complete lockdown. You got the UK. All their people are up in an uprising right now because they're not willing to comply with all the mandates and policies that they're trying to put in place for them as a society, as a people, as a group of people. And these people are starting to get really pissed off in in coordinating and forming into large mobs of protest. So for us here in the United States, to say that this is um, a problem with our country is foolish. I mean, this is happening everywhere. This isn't happening just here, and because it's happening everywhere, um, it's quite confusing for places like the county that I'm in. I mean, we go to grocery stores and we go to restaurants and we can go about our daily lives as if nothing's happening. There's no enforcement. There's actually fewer people in the county that Nikki and I live in that people actually wear masks or enforce any kind of mandates or anything like that. So you walk through the grocery stores, and this is where it gets really troubling. The mask mandates and all that shit, the injections for the cure and all that stuff is nothing. I mean, that's just something that they're throwing at us to create fear. But the real underlying issue that people in this county and counties like this, where everything seems okay, um, is the effect of the places that it's not okay are going to have on us, like California, um, New York. You look at New York, that's the financial district pretty much of the United States. And then you look at California, that's the second largest economy in the country with tourism and farming, shipping, and you look at the state of the shipping yards, the ports there. I mean, there's over 100 vessels sitting out there just waiting to get unloaded that can't get unloaded because the mandates and the restrictions and the laws that the leadership of that state are putting forth. We came back from New Mexico. We were up in the mountains of New Mexico, and we'd go to the grocery store because of the leadership of that state. They had shit all fucked up. You go into the stores and there's no food on the shelves. You had to stand in line to get into the store. And this is just another state away. This is not that far away from where I'm at. You look at places like Washington in this country that have all their mandates in places like Portland, Oregon, and Seattle, Washington, Chicago, Illinois. You look at those states, and those states are all fucked up, just like San Diego and Los Angeles. Those states, that state has really fucked those economies up. And my point in all this is because they are enforcing mandates and they are putting restrictions on their people and requiring certain levels of cure injections to be administered to people before they can go to work or travel or even shop. All that shit is coming here. I mean, it doesn't look like it right now if you're not paying attention, but somebody like me who's paying attention, I look at the car lots. I look at the Chevy dealership and there's 12 trucks on the entire lot for sale. And they try to put all these used cars up front to make it look like they have inventory, but I know the Chevrolet dealership doesn't sell brand new Nissans and Toyotas and other makes and models of cars. Their primary source is GM and Chevrolet. And then you look at the Ram dealership and the Ford dealership, same thing. You go into the grocery stores and you can kind of see where everything is pushed to the front. There are still some sections here that are completely empty in some stores like Aldi and Kroger does a pretty good job of masking their lack of inventory. But you can tell, and you can also tell by the prices of things that all this shit that is going on in other places that are requiring all these mandates and restrictions on their workforce and their people. And that's the other thing here is the workforce in the service sector is diminished. You can go in a restaurant and you can go in a grocery store and you can go into any retail shop without the mandates or restrictions, but good luck getting any help, good luck getting any service, good luck getting service worth of shit, because the people that they have working there, they don't want to be there. They're not paying them worth of shit. And it's a telltale sign of the times, because if you're not paying attention, like many people around here, they are not paying attention. They think everything's just, inconvenience, and at some point it's going to go back to normal. But that's the furthest thing from the truth, because these other countries and these other states and these other continents that used to export, import, and their tourism, the people from their continents and their countries would come to this country and spend their money here as tourists or as exchange students or wherever the fuck they came here, work visas to come over here and work. Whatever, all that shit is gone. Business meetings are gone, conventions are gone, expos are gone. All that shit that used to stimulate economies have now vanished or become pretty much, non-existent, extinct. So for us to be here and to witness the last morsels of freedom that we have as sovereign human beings and free individuals, at some point we will end up in a situation where we don't have the resources or the convenience and creature comforts that we once had. I mean, just look at prices alone. You know, I shop for the same things over and over and over and over. I'm a creature of habit. So I buy certain items that, you know, I've been buying for 20, 30 years because I've grown accustomed to using certain brands or certain levels of quality of products, especially when it comes to food. And the prices have just fucking doubled or tripled in some cases. And it's like, what the fuck? And even preparing, buying canned meats and canned goods, vegetables and stuff like that, it's getting harder and harder to prepare because the cost of goods have gone up so much that where I used to, you know, set money aside to buy a case of this or 3 cases of this, you know, I could only get 1 case now. And it's really starting to show itself, and people are oblivious to this. The people around me that I come into contact with daily, you know, they're kind of just waiting for things to go back to normal because they haven't seen the full impact of what is coming down the pipeline, and it's going to be a dire situation for them when one day they wake up and the effects of what's going on globally has now showed up at their front doorstep. And you know, that brings to thought another concern is, like, the United States population has kind of been divvied up into the left and the right, which is, you know me, I'm a political atheist. I don't believe in politics, and politics is not part of my truth. But you know, you've got the people on the left trying to blame the people on the right for what's going on, and you got the people on the right trying to blame people on the left for what's going on, and it's got nothing to do with the left or the right. If you would just look around and understand that this is happening in every other country on the fucking planet, you would come to terms with the fact that, hey, maybe it's not this orange man or this dementia-ridden man who is causing the problem. Maybe there's a bigger entity that is affecting all of us globally. And you know, when you bring politics into your truth, and I'm going to say the truth that you defend, the truth that you believe, when you bring politics and religion into your truth, that's where you really fuck up. That's where you're really sucked into the psyops that create this division. That's the sole purpose, is to create a division amongst the citizens of a specific country against each other, either through racism or LGBTQ or pro-life or pro-vax or you know, even climate change, however they can figure out how to get in your fucking head and make you hate somebody else for not believing in what you believe in. When you bring politics and religion into that shit, that's where everything gets fucked up. And that's what this country has done. That's what a majority of this country has opted as their solution to the problem. And you know, I've made videos in the past that talk about how humans, we like to solve each other's problems. We like to solve problems for profit. We like to solve problems for each other, to create an identity for ourselves so that we can feel good about ourselves. And fuck wisdom and fuck integrity and fuck, you know, truth. Make me look good, make me famous, make everybody adore and admire me, and I'm good. Even if I'm spouting out bullshit, as long as people look to me and as long as people like me, hey, they think I'm a good person. And that's the problem with these bureaucrats and philanthropists like Mr. Gates and Mr. Fauci. These are fucking unelected officials who are cramming their philanthropy and their bureaucracy down our fucking throats as if we fucking elected them for something, as if we elected them for that, you know. But, because we're stupid human beings. You know what? I'm not going to say you're a stupid human being. I'm going to give you the benefit of the doubt. Let's just run the checklist here. We're the only fucking species on the planet that pays to live on this planet, and we're the only fucking species on this planet that creates suffering and crises for other species on this planet. So, our big old fucking frontal lobe brain that we claim to walk around with all the fucking answers, and I'm intelligent and I'm scholared and I'm diplomaed and I got a PhD and I got all this shit. Well, show me your PhD in wisdom. Show me your PhD in truth. Show me your certification for integrity. And that's when you become somebody who is worthy of leading people. Because wisdom, integrity, and truth, you're not going to get a certification for that shit. Yeah, you can get a certification to manipulate science. You can even get a certification to manipulate math. You can get a certification to manipulate history and medicine and all these other factors that human beings are curious about. You can find a way to manipulate physical fitness. You can find a way to manipulate addiction. You can find a way to manipulate anything if you're seeking attention and monetary compensation and admiration and a following of other people. You can become a shaman or a priestess or whatever you want to call yourself in the spiritual realm, and you can manipulate the fuck out of people just so that you can feed your ego. And that's what a lot of people do. They develop these concepts of what spirituality is and what truth is and what's right for everybody. Well, wisdom doesn't operate like that. Wisdom doesn't operate by taking from one and granting another. Wisdom doesn't empower one and enslave another. It doesn't work that way. When you look at nature, there's cooperation and there's balance. Yes, there's violence in nature. There's all kinds of violence in nature. Lions eat little gazelles, and wolves eat sheep, and hawks come down and eat little bunnies and squirrels. But that's the way nature operates. There's a wisdom to it. It's not emotional. And human beings have become so fucking emotional. They're emotional overloads have become the reason why they want to solve other people's problems, why they want to fix other people, because they're fucked up or they're lacking in some self-esteem that they need other people to feed their egotistical, narcissistic, Machiavellian ways. So I'm going to create a yoga practice that teaches people to breathe and teaches people to flow and teaches people to move, but at the same time, I'm going to try to fuck my clients. And those are the people who prey on the vulnerable because they're not enough for themselves. These are the priests and the pastors who molest little boys and little girls. These are the pastors who have $1 million homes and have private jets and drive Ferraris, but when you're in need, they tell you to fucking figure it out on your own. They tell you to give it to God. They tell you to go to a therapist who is credentialed and diplomaed and certified to fuck with your head and to manage your traumas, either as a child or an adult. Same as a physician. A physician's job is to bring you back health-wise into a state of homeostasis, which means the excesses and deficiencies, the lifestyles have to be addressed that cause sickness and illness, and it usually stems from excesses and deficiencies, excesses of a bad thing and deficiencies of a good thing. But the doctors don't do that. They treat it. They treat your symptoms so that they can manage. They can teach you to manage how to be a fucking gross, sick individual stampeding around this earth trying to fulfill your sensational desires so that you can satisfy your taste buds and your cravings and your emotional weaknesses. And the same thing is true for tobacco, alcohol, cocaine, meth, all the addictive caffeine, all the addictive substances that are on this planet that we shove into our faces or snort up our nose and shoot into our veins that give us a moment of euphoria, of peace, but continuing to do that. And the doctors and the psychologists, they don't address this shit. The therapists don't address this shit. They just manage your shit because that's what they're taught in the corrupt education systems that certifies these people and gives these people PhDs to fuck you up even more than you are. And you know, it goes on and on and on and on into the level of corruptibility that you as an individual are capable. How corruptible are you? How corruptible is a person in modern day society? You know, you lay down a certain amount of cash for somebody, and there's no telling what they're willing to do for that cash. You know, I look at the youth of today, and that's kind of what I took a step back, kind of to observe what is going on with the youth. I'm talking about, you know, anywhere between the 17-year-olds to the 25-year-olds. What are they up to? And you know, these kids are really fucked up these days. They really don't have a clue. They're immersed in the entertainment industry. They're immersed in gaming. They're immersed in sex, exploitation, violence, all the things. You know, when I grew up and we were kids, we didn't have cable in the house. We didn't have HBO and Showtime and Netflix and we didn't have internet. We didn't have any of that shit. So we went outside and we interacted with each other in reality. We didn't have a headset on, communicating with each other. If you disrespected somebody, you got into a fight and you resolved that fight, and you didn't go and run to tell somebody, oh, so-and-so is picking on me. No, you had to stand up for yourself, and you had to figure it out for yourself, because that's the reputation that you were going to run around with in the neighborhood. If you were a little weakling, you were going to get bullied. If you didn't stand up and protect yourself or stand up for yourself, you were going to be bullied. But if you stood up for yourself and you showed that you had a set of balls, or you showed that you had some kind of fucking backbone, most people wouldn't fuck with you. They would just kind of just like, you know what, that motherfucker might fucking pull a stick out and beat the shit out of me, or that dude ain't gonna take that shit no more. So it's not worth it. It's kind of like a lion hunting a rhinoceros. It's like, you know, I'm fucking hungry, but that motherfucker will fuck me up. I'm gonna wait for something to come along that's a little bit more accessible, because shit, that thing's gonna fuck me up if I try to kill it and eat it. But you know, and that's who we are. We're primal people. We have the primal imprint of our souls that we are. You know, we often mistake ourselves as a body that has a soul, but it's the other way around. We are a soul that has entered into this body and into this physical world, and we've lost connection to that soul. We've lost the truth of who we are as a people, as a species, as man, as humanity, as, you know, whatever natural connection we have to this earth. And you know, I admire primal human beings. I admire and I look at the ways of primal human beings before civilization, before all the problem solving, the emotional charged problem solving, like you need Jesus and you need to be a good person, you need to do this and you need to do that, and let me enable you and let me help you become a better person by giving you money because you're standing there with a sign, and let me, you're a troubled kid, and you know what, I'm going to help you do this and I'm going to help you do that. And you know what, people who just take, they don't have limits. People who give, they do. And the people who take will only take of what they want. And if they want to con you into giving them what they want, then they will. And they know how. They learn how to do it. Kids on the streets learn how to do that every single fucking day. They learn how to con each other. They learn how to con their parents. They learn how to con their friends. They learn how to con their teachers. They learn how to con the system, because they see on the TV what other people have and they want it, and they'll manipulate things. I've heard teenagers say, "Well, $50 is $50. I'll do, if you want me to do this, I'll do that for $50." There's no morality. There's no integrity. There's no wisdom. There's no truth in what they're willing to do for money. A free education is a free education. I've heard that. I'd fuck my professor for a fucking free education or a free pass on my test. I've heard kids say this. It's like, what the fuck are you talking about? Well, I mean, a free education is a free education. It's like there is no morality. These people are demoralized. Therefore, there is no integrity. Therefore, there is no wisdom. Therefore, there is no truth. You can manipulate these people. These people are so corruptible by status and money that they'll do anything. And these are the future. This is what we've left as the adults. I'm part of that. I'm part blamed to that too. I raised my kid as a guilty parent. I did that. I know what it's like to be a guilty father, because the relationship didn't work out with the mother, and I get to only see you on the weekend. So here, let me spoil the fuck out of you while I have you on the weekend and fuck you up as a growing adolescent, and let you loose into the fucking workforce and society so that you can be this emotional fucking crybaby that has to seek somebody to blame for everything that's ever gone wrong in their life, and to act it out emotionally. I learned one thing a long time ago. If you take the emotion out of any situation, you can solve any problem. Every problem that humanity faces, every fucking problem that humanity has created trying to fix another problem, has all been out of corruption and emotion. Either corruption in trying to gain status, and make a name for themselves and make wealth for themselves, and be recognized and honored and remembered by millions and millions of people, or they're fucking emotional fucking wrecks who don't know how to contain their emotions or even how to address their emotions, because they're deficient in critical thinking skills. They're deficient in being able to provide for themselves, to be able to find a path for themselves. They're on somebody else's path. Most people are walking somebody else's path. They follow. They find somebody that they admire and they want to be like, or they've been inspired by. And rather than taking the morsel of truth out of this person's ability to overcome, race, creed, nationality, social status, money problems, whatever, addictions, they try to be like these people. They try to mimic these people's lives, and they dress like them, and they talk like them, and they promote everything about these people, but they never walk their own path. They stay on that person's path. And we were not put here to walk another's path. We were put here to walk our own path. And I look at, there's so many examples that I look at. I look around society, and I understand that most people have been duped. I understand that most people never had a fighting chance. They were never given a fighting chance because they followed what everybody else told them that they should do. They did it the way their grandparents did it. They did it the way their parents did it. They fulfilled everybody's expectations in life except their own. And that's where we run into all these emotional problems in people trying to fix each other with their emotions, not with wisdom, not with truth, and not with integrity. They try to do it. Here, let me give this guy $1, or let me give this organization a $200 donation, or let me give this organization some of my time, and I'm going to volunteer, and I'm going to serve breakfast for these people, and I'm going to go and pick up trash, or I'm going to go and help paint somebody's house, or I'm going to go and be an usher at a church, or work the daycare, or whatever. But you're fulfilling somebody else's path. You're not fulfilling your own path. If God wanted you to be a servant in a church, he would have given you a fucking church. He would have given you a church to lead. He would have given you a message to put forth for everybody else to go, hey, I like that person. I like what they're doing. I want to be empowered like that person. But no, we just give our power away to the guy with the most expensive suit and who has the best fucking talking capabilities in front of a camera, or who exposes themselves as successful with their entourage and the followers that they have, and the subs and the likes and the comments and all that other shit. And people have gotten wrapped up in this. And look at just the whole TikTok movement and the 2-minute videos and the Instagram selfies and all the shit that people have fucking decided, this is my identity. The identity that I want to create for myself is a digital identity that isn't real. It's not even fucking real. I'm going to hide behind filters, and I'm going to hide behind backdrops, and I'm going to hide behind my subscribers, and I'm going to hide behind the comments, and I'm going to hide behind, but who the fuck are you? Who the fuck are you really? When you're by yourself and you don't have all these people praising and worshiping you and handing you money and a check's coming in the mail, and you've bought everything that you could ever desire. I live amongst many wealthy people, and they're just as fucking unhappy as the people in the fucking ghetto. The people who surround me are all very wealthy people in the neighborhood that I live in. They're all very fucking wealthy people, but they're just as unhappy as the people in the fucking ghetto struggling for their next beer or their next fucking hit of meth or just to put food on the fucking table for their kids. They're just as unhappy. They're dishonest with their spouses. They're dishonest about the money that they spend. They're always looking for something bigger and better, and they will never be satisfied. Even though they have it all and they've already won, they can't be happy. And I just look at it, I'm like, fuck, this is no different than growing up in the hood that I grew up in. Why are these people fucking medicated and using alcohol to manage their days? Because they're not fucking happy. Why does this person want to cheat on their spouse, or why does this person need to spend all this money on pornography or prostitutes or lavish items? Why? Because they'll never be fulfilled. They're not happy. They're not happy with just being the soul that they are. They have to prove to other people that they're greater and greater and greater. And that's why we're in a situation we're in. This planet, whether it's, there's so much shit going on, so many ideas about what's going to happen to humanity. There are people putting dates on it. They're predicting, December is going to be the day, the month that everything comes crashing down. The economy is going to crash down. They're going to lock us down, and the food supplies are going to go short. This big asteroid is going to hit the planet, and everything's going to go wrong, and humanity is just going to be fucked. Well, good. Maybe that needs to happen. Maybe that fucking needs to happen because people haven't figured out how to fucking love themselves, first of all. I look at most of these tree hugging hippie types, people with pink hair and piercings and tattoos, and we need to love each other, and we need to be kind to each other, and we need to do all this for each other. I get it. I get what you're saying. But do is that real? Is that the answer? Loving each other and walking up to somebody and hugging them on the street and going, "Hey, I love you and you're such a wonderful, beautiful soul." No, that's not the answer. That's not how it fucking works. If you look at anybody, and I'm just going to use the Buddhist monks or the Shaolin monks, the people who have really dedicated their lives to mastering the art of self, the art of knowing thyself, the art of understanding that there is something greater about humanity that most people just don't get. They just don't get it. These people don't walk around hugging everybody. These people don't walk around trying to change the world. These people don't walk around trying to solve your problems. They're just working on themselves. They're just trying to solve their own problem. They're just trying to find the truth about themselves from within. The indigenous cultures that were here, either on this continent or any other continent, prior to the monetary civilization, monarch dictatorships came along and gathered up all these people and separated them from their ways. They weren't like that. They weren't walking around hugging everybody and trying to solve each other's problems and going into other tribes and trying to solve their problems and trying to make them. No, they were individuals. They worked on self. They valued self. They valued family. They valued the community that they were granted. And they didn't try to go fix other people. They didn't try to go indoctrinate other people. They didn't try to flip other people's belief systems. They left people the fuck alone. But just like the wolves had boundaries, hunting grounds, and the bears have their territories, and all wildlife has their boundaries, so did the human beings. And that's why there were wars back then. That's why there were conflicts, is when one tribe would come into another hunting ground or try to take something from another tribe. That's when there was conflict. That's why there was conflict, because that's how the people back then regulated themselves. It's the laws of nature. It's the laws of the universe. It's not man-written laws. It's not, in this country you can do this, but in this country you can't do that. In this state you can smoke all this stuff over here and you can buy it at a store, but in this state you can't. Those are man-made laws. All that law, wear your seatbelt, wear your get your cure injection, do all this shit. This is all man-made shit. This has nothing to do with your soul, the truth, the sovereignty and freedom as a human being. This is all shit that people have put together to indoctrinate you, to get you into their tax system, to get you penalized, so that you can pay interest and you can fight amongst yourselves, trying to be the biggest fucking dog on the block with the biggest truck or the biggest most expensive car or the biggest house that you can't fucking afford, but you're making payments on it, killing yourself trying to do it because you live under a stress level that no creature was ever created to handle. And you wonder why you're sick, and you wonder why you're unhappy, and you wonder why all the money on the planet can't solve your problems. Is because you weren't designed for this shit. None of us were. The only people who were designed for this shit are the power-hungry animals that try to control you, that push you into situations that make you the person, the unhappy, fucking emotional mess that you are. It is those people. They don't have the stress that you have. They don't have to worry about standing in line. They don't have to worry about filling out applications. They fucking just rule you. And why can they rule you? Because they claim their power. They claim the wisdom of this fucking place. They claim the truth of this place. They even though they manipulate the integrity of this place, who's to say it's right or wrong? Who's to say that the way they're ruling is wrong? Maybe it's the way you're following. Maybe it's the fact that you're following that is wrong. Maybe it's the fact that your grandfather and your mother and your father and everybody in your fucking community has taught you to follow. Maybe that's the problem. Maybe if people would just become individuals and stop trying to fix everybody and everything because they're either emotionally fucked or they're corrupt. Their souls are corrupt. Maybe if we just stop doing that shit, you'd stop being sick and you'd stop being depressed and you'd stop being oppressed and you stop being a fucking victim and trying to fix everybody else's problems because you can't fix your own. You'd stop acting like a fucking idiot, you know, burning down buildings and rioting and looting from other people who worked hard for their shit, destroying your own communities. You know, there was no other fucking time in any indigenous culture where the indigenous people destroyed their own fucking villages. Here, you know what? The fucking chief of this place is a dumbass, so I'm going to fuck up everybody's teepee and I'm going to burn down their fucking huts and I'm going to go start my own tribe. That's not the way it worked back then, because you would have fucking been dealt with swiftly. But not in man-written laws. Everybody is corruptible. Everybody has a price that they are willing to sell their souls for. And you know, well, not everybody. People like me, you're not going to buy my soul. My soul's not for sale. My wife's soul's not for sale. There are many people like us that our souls are not for sale. I don't give a shit if you threaten to take my job away. I don't give a shit if you threaten to take my lifestyle away or my standard of living away. Guess what? You're not going to get me to do what you want me to do. I'm going to do, if I have to die defending my truth, my soul's truth, not this ego, not this fucking meat suit that is limited in capability of processing light and sound and vibrations to the spectrum of only what a human being can decode. I'm talking about the shit, the not this reality, but the actuality of this universe, the actuality of this existence, the energy that flows through this fucking meat suit that has given it life. That is a great soul. There is a great soul that guides me. And that's my soul, just like your soul. You have a great soul. You don't have to ask God or Jesus or Buddha or Allah or anybody for blessings and riches and status and all that shit, because that's not the way it works. The God of this world will grant you whatever the fuck you want as long as you sell your soul. But if you're going to church to give money so that you can get something in return, or you show up at a place to show your face so that you can receive some kind of status or appreciation, you're a corrupt motherfucker. You're already corrupt. You can teach nobody nothing. All you can do is teach people how to do the same thing. Replicate that same shit, but look at the person who is standing in front of the room. He makes a shit ton more money than you do because you're the one giving your power to them. You're the one giving your power away to all these gods and goddesses and entities and demons and angels and all this other shit when you're just as fucking powerful as they are, but you don't know it because nobody taught you that. Nobody taught me that. I had to learn this shit for myself. It's not written in a book. You don't go take a class. You don't go up to the mountains of the Himalayas, in the Himalayas and go become a monk to figure this out. You do it right here in your own fucking meat suit, in your own neighborhood, in your own country, in your own state, in your own continent. You do it right there because the soul that empowers this meat suit, this body, this vessel, this biological robot to function, it's going to go on when this thing can no longer proceed. The soul's going to go, and it's going to go, and it's going to take another form. It's going to experience, and it's going to get wise, and that great soul of yours is what we are all connected by. We are all part of the same vastness of wisdom and knowledge and integrity and truth that this place has taken it away. This place has robbed you of it. It is no longer the the uh, the freedom and sovereignty as a human being that guides us, the truth. We're not guided by truth anymore. We're guided by bullshit. We're guided by lies. We're guided by money. We're guided by status. We're guided by all the fucking shit that doesn't matter. Because when you leave this place and you die, and those people who knew you die, and all those people are gone, and they no longer chant your name anymore, then what do you got? Then what did you do? What did you accomplish? What did you leave behind? What was your asset of truth, wisdom, and integrity that you left behind for future generations to call upon when they need guidance, when their soul seems so far away? How do they find their way to their soul? They're going to find it by what you left behind. They're going to find it by the truth that you left behind. They're going to find it by the legacy that you left behind and the humanity left behind. We're not doing that right now. We're going to end up like every other civilization that has fallen. They were all fucking retarded, and a big asteroid came or a big flood came, and God wiped them all out and said, "Fuck you, motherfuckers. I don't need y'all on this planet." And that's the wisdom and truth of this place, because guess what? That's where we're headed again. I believe I've ranted long enough. 2 months of silence was a good run for me. So I'm gonna leave it there. I know this probably pissed some people off, but I don't care. I'm not looking to make friends here. I don't need friends. I don't need a following. I don't need admiration or acceptance or approval. My soul is my approval. So I'm gonna leave it there. Whatever, like, subscribe, drop a comment. I don't give a shit. You're gonna do whatever you're gonna do anyway. We'll talk to you later.